with us. Good afternoon, sir. Senator Erwin Tulfo, who's also present with us. Good afternoon, sir. Senator Amy Marcos, who's also present with us. Good afternoon, ma'am. Senator Bongo, who's also present with us today. Other members of the Senate panel is Senator Camille Villar, Senator Bato de la Rosa, and yours truly.
Thank you. On the part of the House of Representatives, let me state for the record our members to the Bicameral Conference Committee. Representative Albert S. Garcia, Representative Christine Singson Mihan, Representative Jose C. Alvarez, Representative Maria Carmen C. S. Zamora, Representative Rufus B. Rodriguez, Representative Jordin Jesus M. Romualdo, Representative Brian Raymond S. Yamsuan, Representative Javier Miguel L. Benitez, Representative Marcelino C. Libanan, Representative Alan U. T., and yours truly, Representative Micaela B. Swansing. Good afternoon, Your Honors.
With the permission of the chairperson, allow me to give my brief opening statement. To the esteemed conferees of this bicameral conference committee on the disagreeing votes on House Bill number 4058, my colleagues from the Senate Committee on Finance, and our counterparts from the House of Representatives Committee on Appropriations. It is my distinct honor to welcome you to this bicameral conference committee meeting. Every year, Congress convenes as a single body to finalize at BICAM its most important legislation, discussing the varying perspectives of each member and reconciling their fiscal priorities to craft a national budget that is coherent, transparent, and responsive to the needs of the Filipino people. This year finds us in extraordinary times. The 2026 national budget is being deliberated upon as the nation grapples with the corruption revealed in the flood control scandal. Public trust in our government institution has been shaken. And so it is imperative that we do everything we can to repair our social contract with the people we have sworn to serve. In response to this call, each chamber has demonstrated its serious and consensuous commitment to meet the people's demand for transparency. The Senate, in fulfillment of Senate Concurrent Resolution number 4, has made publicly accessible documents relating to the national budget all in digital format through a centralized Senate Budget Transparency Portal. And today, for the first time in history, the Bicameral Conference Committee meeting on the 2026 national budget is live streamed. This is a recognition that the Filipino people are the ultimate stakeholders of every peso contained within every national budget. And as such, they have the right to know exactly where their taxes go. As we go to the BICAM proper, this meeting will seek to operationalize a procedure governing the initiation and passage of all appropriations bills pursuant to Article 6, Section 24 of the 1987 Constitution. This provision mandates that all appropriation, revenue, or tariff bills authorizing increase of public debt, bills of local application, and private bills shall originate exclusively in the House of Representatives. The same provision expressly empowers the Senate to propose or concur with amendments. This BICAM will be a parallel execution of this procedure by presenting the 2026 General Appropriations Bill as passed by the House of Representatives on third reading and deliberating on the proposed amendments of the Senate as passed on third reading to decide on the disagreeing appropriations. It is my deepest hope and prayer that through us, your conferees, each chamber will be able to fulfill its constitutional role. Hindi lamang upang mapanatili ang integridad ng sistema ng legislatura, kundi upang matiyak na ang pambansang budget na ito, ang kalooban at kapangyarihan ng sambayanang Pilipino ang mananaig. Sa ating pagpupulong sa araw na ito, pagtibayin pa natin ang prinsipyong nagbigay buhay sa ating republika at sa ligang batas. Ang paniniwala na lahat hindi pagkakaunawaan ay nabibigyan ng liwanag sa pamamagitan ng mahinahong diskusyon, bukas na pag-uusap at pagkakaisa. I know that as we review the varying fiscal and development priorities, we will be guided by the values of fairness, service, and justice. Pakinggan natin ang bawat pananaw ng may paggalang sa isa't isa. Alalahanin natin na ang budget na ating ipapasa ay huhubog sa buhay ng milyong-milyong mga Pilipino na sa susunod na taon. Panatilihin nating malawak ang ating pananaw lampas sa mga suliranin ng kasalukuyan tungo sa isang mapayapa at masaganang kinabukasan para sa ating mga kababayan. Siguraduhin natin na ang pambansang budget para sa taong 2026 ay magsisilbing daan sa pag-angat ng buhay ng bawat Pilipino. Ipakita natin sa kanila na hindi lang katang-isip ang isang gobyernong matino, bukas at kumikilos ng tama. Patunayan nating lahat na hindi natin pababayaan ang kanilang mga pangarap. Maraming salamat. Magandang hapon po.
Mr. Chair, with your permission, I will also deliver a brief opening remark on the part of the conferees of the House of Representatives. Honorable members of the House and Senate panels, distinguished colleagues in public service, members of the media who are with us here in PICC, and to our countrymen closely watching this historic day, good afternoon. We are here today not only to address the disagreeing provisions of fiscal year 2026 General Appropriations Bill, or House Bill number 4508, but also to continue a series of structural reforms that place transparency, accountability, and public participation at the center of our budget process. We started by abolishing the small committee and establishing the first ever Budget Amendments Review Subcommittee, or the BARC. The BARC's over 20 hours of deliberations on institutional amendments were live streamed, and all amendments approved were shown line by line. Moreover, all committee hearings and plenary deliberations were live streamed. We enhanced engagement with civil society organizations and conducted the first ever People's Budget Review. For the first time in recent history, the period of amendments in the House was open to all members, and all amendments were incorporated before the second reading approval. Ang makasaysayang araw na ito, ang pinakaunang araw sa kasaysayan na bubuksan sa publiko ang BICAM, ay sumasalamin po sa paninindigan ng Kongreso na tanggalin ang tabing sa usaping budget at talagang ipakita kung saan napupunta ang bawat piso ng buwis mula sa dugo at pawis ng bawat Pilipino. This is the actualization of the House's commitment since August, even before the budget deliberation started, to open and live stream the Bicameral Conference Committee proceedings. And this is something the House and the Senate leadership have strongly advocated for jointly over the last few months. I would like to discuss key highlights of the House version of the GAB that the House panel puts forth to this Bicameral Conference Committee. The 255 billion pesos from the removal of flood control projects under DPWH were reallocated mainly to the three key sectors identified by President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.: education, health, and agriculture. Specifically, 201.1 billion out of the 255 billion pesos, or 79%, went to the following: 56.6 billion towards education, 90.7 billion towards health, and 53.7 billion towards agriculture. The budget for fiscal year 2026 will contain the highest budget education in history. With the 56.6 billion pesos added by the House of Representatives, the total budget for the education sector will be 1.28 trillion pesos, which translates to 4.1% of GDP. This is the first time ever in history that we will breach the 4% international benchmark. Of this, 56.64 billion pesos, with the 35.1 billion added by the House, the budget for the Basic Education Facilities Program will increase to 63.2 billion pesos. This amount translates to around 25,200 new and rehabilitated classrooms in 2026, or 63% of the 40,000 classrooms envisioned by the President to be built and rehabilitated by 2028. Next, fiscal year 2026 will be the first year that we will be able Next, this is the first ever year that we will be able to fully fund the implementation of UACTE since it was passed into law in 2017. With the 4.48 billion pesos added by the House and the House special provision enabling the use of the 7.82 billion pesos from the Higher Education Development Fund, we will be able to fully fund the 12.3 billion peso deficiency to 113 SUCs in fiscal year 2026. This is something that the SUCs have been clamoring for the past 6 years. With a total funding of 52.2 billion pesos for UACTE, CHED-TES, CHED-TDP, TES the STEP, and TES the TWSP, we will be able to provide scholarships to 2.49 million learners. Next, under the health cluster, with the 90 billion pesos added by the House, the total health sector budget increased to 411.2 billion pesos. With the 60 billion pesos added by the House, the total subsidy for PhilHealth increases to 113 billion pesos, geared towards the improvement of benefits. With the 25 billion added by the House, the total for MAIFIP increases to 49.2 billion pesos to actualize the directive of President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. to provide zero balance billing for indigent patients in government hospitals. Next, under the agriculture cluster, with the 53.8 billion pesos added by the House, the total agriculture sector budget increased to 292.9 billion pesos. Of this, 10 billion pesos is provided for the presidential assistance for farmers and fisherfolk, expected to benefit 1.43 million farmers and fisherfolk. With the 35.5 billion pesos added by the House, a total of 74.5 billion pesos will be provided towards the construction and rehabilitation of farm-to-market roads and irrigation infrastructure. Moreover, 30 billion pesos is provided under RCEF towards the provision of farm mechanization and other inputs. The House also added 1 billion pesos for crop insurance, 2.4 billion pesos for the construction of deep water ports, and 200 million pesos for the implementation of the new Agrarian Emancipation Act. Lahat po ito ay patatulungan ng ating mga bayaning magsasaka na bumaba ang kanilang mga gastusin at mapataas ang kanilang ani at kita. To our colleagues in the Senate, our House panel looks forward to working with you in this bicameral conference committee in crafting a final version of the budget for fiscal year 2026 that truly is responsive to the needs of the Filipino people in our country. I am very hopeful because as we look at the two versions, we both have the same priority areas, which is education, health, and agriculture. Sa atin pong mga kababayan, tinanggal na po ng inyong Kongreso ang tabing sa usaping budget. Ginawa po ng inyong Kongreso ang lahat para siguraduhin na ang budget ay transparent, malinis at may sapat na safeguards para siguraduhin hindi ito maaaring maabuso. Pinapangako po ng inyong Kongreso na ang budget para sa taong 2026 ay mararamdaman ng bawat Pilipino, na ito ay tunay na tumutugon sa pangangailangan ng ating mga kababayan at ng ating bansa, na ito ay isang budget na inyong mapagkakatiwalaan. Maraming salamat po para sa Diyos at Bayan.
Maraming salamat, Chairperson Mika, at natutuwa ho ako at kami dahil yung tema ng budget ng Senado ay halos kaling tulad na rin o tingin ko parehong-pareho na rin sa tema rin ng budget ng House of Representatives. Kami rin po binigyan ho namin ng malaking atensyon ang sektor ng edukasyon, malaking atensyon ang sektor ng public health at agriculture. At makikita ho natin mamaya sa mga detalye na itong tatlong sektor na ito ay nabibigyan ngayon ng malaking pahalaga para maramdaman ng ating mga kababayan ang tunay na serbisyo ng gobyerno. At ito talaga ang nakikita kong kailangan ng kailangan, mga basic necessities, basic services para po sa ating mga kababayan.
Tama po yun, Mr. Chair. Yun po yung isa namin na nakita na talagang maganda at alam ko, I'm also very confident that we will be able to craft a version of the budget na talaga pong sumasalamin sa gusto pong mangyari ng ating mga kasamahan pareho po sa Kongreso at sa Senado. Dahil alam ko naman po, yun na rin po yung sinabi sa atin ng ating Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos Jr. noong SONA na sana mabigyan ng prioridad ang human capital development patungkol po sa edukasyon, agrikultura at kalusugan. Kaya makikita naman po natin pareho sa version ng House of Representatives at na Senado na ang pinakamalaki, ang bulto po na ang pondo ng ating gobyerno ay atin pong ilalaan para po sa tatlong mahahalagang sektor na ito. So mamaya po, hihimayin po natin yan, Senwin. Alam po natin yan na hihimayin po natin lahat ng mga items patungkol po sa edukasyon, agrikultura at kalusugan.
Salamat. In fact, I would like to ask kung meron pong gusto magbigay ng opening statement. We recognize Senator Kiko Pangilinan.
Yes, maraming salamat, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, this is not so much an opening statement as a matter of putting on record that a statement was forwarded to us by the Roundtable for Inclusive Development, RFID, and the People's Budget Coalition, signed by Bishop of Caloocan, Pablo Virgilio Cardinal David, Ramon Del Rosario of the Roundtable for Inclusive Development, Kenneth Abante, co-convener of People's Budget Coalition.
And in this letter, meron ho silang 7 items na recommendation ho sa Bicameral Conference Committee and both the Senate and the House of Representatives on how to improve transparency in the budget deliberation. And I made the checklist. Actually, I showed you the checklist. Out of the 7 recommendations, 4 have been fulfilled by the House of Representatives and also the Senate. For example po, all of the documents pertaining to the budget deliberations from the start, ibig sabihin ho, pag-submit pa lang sa Kongreso ng NEP, pag-approval ng GAB, at pati yung Senate version, lahat po ito naka-upload na ho sa website. No? Dati ho hindi ginagawa yon, ngayon naka-upload ho sa website. So pwede na ho ng ating mga kababayan makita yan in real time. So 4 out of the 7 ay na-fulfill. The rest actually, yung 3 ho ay hindi natin ma-fulfill dahil yung isa, ang recommendation nila nandito yung mga ahensya. No? Sa Bicameral Conference Committee, alam naman ho natin na it's both the House and the Senate ang composition ng BICAM, hindi po yung mga ahensya. But we're happy to work with them to further improve the process, like what Congresswoman Mika mentioned earlier, na first time to in history. So marami pa ho tayong pwedeng gawin para ma-improve yung transparency process ng budget deliberation. And we're very open and we welcome suggestions, especially from our constituents.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to stress that napakahalaga ng people's participation, citizens' participation in our government deliberations and discussions. And that's why I placed this on record, and that's why I would like all members of the Bicameral Conference Committee to be given copies. Mas maganda at mas maayos ang transparency pagka ang mamamayan mismo ay we engage with citizens groups and organizations in the deliberation of the 2026 budget. Maraming salamat, Mr. Chairman.
Maraming salamat, Senator Kiko, for that intervention.
Mr. Chair, if we may, on the part of the House, thank you for acknowledging, Chair Win, with regard to the transparency measures that we've already done in the House. It's the same checklist po, right? The 7 items that were mentioned here. So as we mentioned, like all the amendments, we will make sure that it's very transparent as to who will advocate for them. We've done that during the BARC, even during the period of amendments of the House. Ngayon din po makikita natin line by line lahat. So bukas po lahat ng mga amyenda. In terms of the live streaming, pareho naman po. Ang Kongreso at ang Senado pareho po tayong nagpasa ng resolusyon patungkol po sa live streaming at yung pagpapublish po ng bicameral report and minutes and yung matrix po ng disagreeing provisions. So lahat po ito, tulad po ng binanggit po ni Sen Win, ito po ang pinakaunang pagkakataon sa kasaysayan ng ating bansa na binuksan po ang BICAM. We are adopting as we go and we hope to improve it improve the process as we go along in the succeeding budget cycles. Pero nagpapasalamat po kami sa ating po mga kaibigan sa civil society organizations na ating pong naging katuwang sa paglilinang po, pagpapaganda lalo ng ating proseso sa kahabaan po ng budget deliberations.
Maraming salamat. Senator Erwin Tulfo?
So just be quick, Mr. Chair. This representation firmly believes that our collective focus must be education and health. And I believe this is the first time the twin foundations of long-term national development, these are not optional expenditures, Mr. Chair. They're strategic investments that determine whether our people merely survive or truly thrive. In education, for example, we are confronted with learning poverty, overcrowded classrooms, underpaid teachers, and a generation struggling to recover from years of disruption. Adequate funding for classrooms, teachers' welfare, digital learning tools, and student support is essential if we are serious about building a competitive, innovative, and resilient nation. In health, the lessons of recent years remain painfully clear, Mr. Chair. Our hospital remains overstretched, our health workers undersupported, and access to quality care remains unequal, especially in rural and far-flung communities. Strengthening primary care, public hospitals, disease prevention, and mental health service must be at the core of this budget if we are to protect both lives and livelihoods. At the same time, we must speak also, Mr. Chair and my fellow members, candidly about infrastructure spending, particularly in flood control projects. While infrastructure has a role in development, we cannot ignore the reality that some projects have failed to deliver protection to our communities, and worse, have been tainted by allegations of misuse and pocketing of public funds. Every peso lost to corruption is a classroom not built, hospital bed not provided, and a life put at risk. This bicameral conference is our opportunity to correct course, to realign resources towards sectors that directly uplift our people, to ensure transparency and accountability, and to restore public trust in the budgeting process. Let us be guided, dear colleagues, not by political convenience, but by conscience. Let us craft a 2026 national budget that places the Filipino learner and the Filipino patient at the center, and that proves this Congress is capable of choosing people over pork and progress over plunder. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I look forward to a principled and productive deliberation.
Maraming salamat, Senator Erwin, for those reminders. Any conferee who want to give Senator Amy Marcos?
Yes, maraming salamat sa dalawang chair natin. At maliwanagan lang sana ang minorya. Pagkat wala po akong nakikitang budget ng DPWH at kung talagang transparency ang habol natin, bakit wala rito ang pinagmulan ng pagpopoot at kawalang kampiyansa ng taong bayan sa atin?
Actually, may mga ibang mga items po ho na bukas po itatalakay, katulad po ng mga special purpose funds, unprogrammed appropriations. So tomorrow
Yung
po
program po nandito.
tomorrow po ang tomorrow ho yung pag-uusapan.
Pero narito na. Andito naman yung unprogrammed at hinanap ko talaga. Arito naman yung unprogrammed. Dito sa page 31 ng page 32 na kumpleto. Kaya pinagtatakahan ko bakit yung DPWH wala po. At kung tatalakayin bukas, maaari bang ibigay sa amin ng mas maaga pagkat yung committee report, kung maalala ko, ay mahigit kumulang 1,000 at 500 pahina.
Noted po. We'll provide her honor the documents ahead of time.
Kailan kaya matatapos yung DPWH budget? Kasi yun talaga ang inaasahan ng taong bayan.
Rest assured po na ipro-provide po sa her honor at sa lahat po ng conferees, hindi lang po sa Senate but also sa House of Representatives po.
I would like to acknowledge on the part of the House, Representative Rufus Rodriguez for a manifestation.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Chair Win Gatchalian of the Senate and all the distinguished senators who are here and my distinguished colleagues. Really, as stated by the chairman, Article 6, the Legislative Department, under Section 24, really gives the original exclusive jurisdiction on budgets, on appropriations to the House. But of course, the Senate has also the power to propose and concur with amendments. And doing our duty, as what the Chair, Mika, has said, we 255.5 billion of flood control and budget of the DPWH, in the first instance, was distributed by the House of Representatives to first 90 billion to health, 56 billion to education, and 53 billion to agriculture. Practically 211 billion of the 255.5. So that is to follow the presidential directive that we have to focus, as stated by former Congressman of Senator Erwin here, Tulfo, that education, health, and also agriculture will be given priority. So therefore, we have taken the lead, and we are very happy that the Senate has likewise studied the budget and has also made proposals to further enhance our support for education, health, and agriculture. Thank you very much, Madam Chair and Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair, both chairs, please. Yes, with all due respect, and I am compelled to disagree without being disagreeable. It was mentioned that certain funds are not included in this submission, when in fact, both are in fact here. On page 31, as mentioned earlier, the unprogrammed funds are already listed quite adequately, and the special purpose fund that were supposedly not here are quite clearly denominated in page 29 as special purpose funds. So ang tanging kulang lamang ay yung mahiwagang DPWH. Yun lang po.
Bukas po, hindi ho lahat ng mga items ho dito matatapos ho natin. Hopefully ho matapos, but from our estimate, baka hindi ho matapos. So bukas ho natin i-deliberate yung ibang mga agencies. Kasama po special purpose funds, kasama na rin po yung mga ibang mga ahensya.
Yes, maraming salamat po. Sana bigyan kami ng konting panahon para mabasa ng maigi at mapag-aralan yung lalo na yung DPWH. Maraming salamat po.
Alright, maraming salamat po. Any more conferees who want to make an opening statement? Meron pa hong mga...
Maybe I should. I wasn't going to. I just wanted to greet all our colleagues in the House of Representatives, both the first-termers and those that I've worked with for a very long time. And I was once in your house. We understand and appreciate and recognize the concerns of the district representatives. We are one with you in serving our people in the grassroots. At the same time, we are grateful to the House of Representatives for allocating correctly the more than 250 billion from DPWH flood control to projects which will benefit the people much better, stressing on the importance of education and health. I take note that the House allocated at least 60 billion for education. You will be happy to note that the Senate, through our very hard-working and education-focused chair, even increased it to more than 85 billion. And this would be, I believe, in the history of our country. Even when I chaired the Finance Committee for 2 administrations for 5 years with 3 chairs of the House of Representatives, never happened before. For that, we're really grateful to the chair. Aside from that, we are grateful to the House as well for indicating in the HGAB the 60 billion bayad utang, which rightfully belongs to PhilHealth. We also take note that in the NEP, there's a 53 billion from the syntax allocation for PhilHealth. However, let me please put it on record that the 53 billion is an incomplete NEP proposal. Kulang po ng 16 billion per the computation made by the Senate. I appeal to the BICAM to put what is rightfully belonging to health. Attorney Rufus Rodriguez, my lawyer from 20 plus years ago, would agree kung ano po ang batas ay dapat sundin. It is not something terribly wrong here. Let me just put on record, Mr. Chair, that there is a 236.91 billion funds missing, which should go to public health, and that's to PhilHealth. And this would include the multi-year earmarking of the syntax, which were not funded, including the NEP of 53 billion. We also take note that the 2025 GAA did not have the syntax allocation, which miraculously disappeared in the GAA. We, both houses of Congress, owe that to the Filipino people. Having said that, I will discuss this further when the Health Department is brought on the floor. But let me state our appreciation for restoring in the HGAB the bayad utang when the DOF took out the PhilHealth 60 billion and returned it. Let me just state also later when we discuss the PhilHealth and the health budget that it was returned in the HGAB, and Congress was the one that enumerated the possible utilization of the funds. Let the legal luminaries and let my lawyer, Attorney Rufus Rodriguez, think about it, whether this is really in compliance with the Supreme Court decision, because the Supreme Court says, in my understanding, that it should be returned to the Treasury. It was taken from the excess funds of PhilHealth. It was not taken with enumeration of the utilization of the funds. I put that on the table. I will leave it to the body to decide. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair?
Madam Chair?
I would like to recognize our Senior Vice Chairperson, also the sponsor of the Department of Health, Representative Albert Garcia.
Maraming salamat, Madam Chair, Mr. Chair, Senator Win, sa ating mga fellow conferees from the House and the Senate. Magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. Tama po yung sinabi ni Senator Loren na binalik na po o ibabalik na po ang 60 billion sa PhilHealth nung nawala nung 2025 budget. And this was discussed during the DOH defense, which I did in the House of Representatives. At isa po sa nagtanong nung defense ay walang iba kundi yung ating chair regarding the budget of PhilHealth and DOH na kung lalagyan po natin ng mas malaking budget, which they deserve at under the law, karapat-dapat po para sa ating beneficiaries, dapat lang in-emphasize ng ating chair na i-expand pa nila yung kanilang package. Kasi right now, alam po natin what's happening on the ground na very limited po or a small percentage of the hospital bill or yung coverage ng PhilHealth ang na-charge sa kanila. And our constituents, mga kababayan po natin, have to shoulder a huge part of their hospital bill or healthcare bill. So we are in agreement sa House and the Senate na talagang by law, dapat madagdagan pa yung kanilang budget, pero dapat makita nila yung kanilang responsibilidad na bilisan pa nila ang pag-expand ng mga package para agarang maramdaman ng ating mga kababayan. Of course, for now, dahil hindi pa ho ayos yung sistema ng universal healthcare, malaking tulong po yung MyFIP. Dahil part of the hospital bill or healthcare expense ay na-charge natin doon. Pero with all these funds going to PhilHealth, I think our people deserve na maging institutionalized na po at malawakan na po kagad o madagdagan na po ang package para konting-konti na lang po yung out of pocket or konting-konti na lang po ang sasaluhin ng zero balance billing ng ating mga DOH and LGU hospitals. So itong responsibilidad na ito dapat ma-emphasize sa leadership ng PhilHealth at ng DOH nang sa ganon ay magawa naman po nila yung responsibilidad nila para sa ating mga membro ng PhilHealth. Maraming salamat, Madam Chair. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Maraming salamat po. Senator Go?
Good afternoon. As you all know, I had my reservations on the BICAM report for the 2025 budget. In fact, I did not sign the BICAM report last year. Particularly, I am saddened by the zero budget given to PhilHealth. No? Kumbaga, double whammy po itong nangyari sa PhilHealth. Alam ko po yan dahil 2024, nagkaroon po ako ng 14 hearings including health emergency allowances ng mga healthcare workers. At doon natin nakita na kulang talaga yung counterpart ng PhilHealth sa kanilang mga pasyente. Tama yung sinabi mo kanina, napakaliit pa ng case rates nila. In fact, nung nagkagulo na, nung Disyembre, 2024, nagkaroon sila ng board meeting, tinaasan nila, sa ilang araw lang ng board meeting, tinaasan nila yung case rates. Kaya pala nilang taasan yung case rates sa ilang araw, Disyembre. Kung ginawa nila yun nung Enero pa lang, tinaasan yung case rates, wala sana silang excess funds na wawalisin ng National Treasury. Nung winalis ng National Treasury, nung July, doon tayo nagkaroon ng hearing, doon tayo na-alarma, at may nag-file sa Supreme Court, salamat, at finally, na-desisyonan po na, sabi ko nga nung panahong yon, it might be legally acceptable then, but morally unacceptable dahil marami pong pasyenteng naghihirap na walang pambayad sa hospital. Eh kung kaya nilang taasan yung case rates noong Disyembre, wala silang excess funds, walang kukunin. Anyway, tapos na po yun. That's water under the bridge. Ang problema ngayon, nagdesisyon po ang Supreme Court ngayon na ibalik po yung pondo na 60 billion. Refund po ito. Ibig sabihin, dapat sana'y magamit agad ito. Eh, ginawa pong appropriation na sa 2026. How about the 2025 na zero? Ilan po kayang mga pasyente ang na-deprive naman po doon sa zero budget po ng PhilHealth noong 2025? Kaya po, isa sa dahilan na hindi po ako pumirma noong 2025. Maybe ma-address po ito ng Bicam. Paano po yung double whammy na yon? 60 billion, ibabalik sa 2026. How about na zero noong 2025? At kung maaari, mabigay na po yung hindi na ibibigay. Dahil nasa syntax law po itong earmarking, about 200 billion pa po mahigit ang hindi nabibigay since 2023. Ilang pasyente po ang matutulungan nito, ilang buhay po ang masasalbar sa pondong ito na alam naman natin nung 2024 nung kinuha po yun yung 60 billion medyo nahalo-halo na kung saan ginamit. May nagsabi na ginamit po sa health emergency allowances, but the truth is it was pinulled po siya tapos ginamit po sa iba't ibang kaya isa po ito sa dahilan na hindi talaga ako pumirma nung 2025 dahil ang sakit na zero mo yung PhilHealth. Pinaglaban nga natin na wag kunin yung excess funds ng PhilHealth. Hindi naman excess yun eh. PhilHealth yun, klaro naman, health para sa Pilipino po yun. Hindi excess funds po yun. Sana po yung ma-address rin po ito ng Bicam. Salamat po.
Madam Chair, if I may.
I would like to recognize our Minority Leader, the Honorable Marcelino Libanon.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just for the record, yung HGAB ng House for 2025, hindi po binawasan ang PhilHealth. Iwan po kung saan na po nabawasan yun. Maraming salamat po.
Yun nga po yung sinasabi. Mabuti na lang po, no? I commend the both houses na nagkaroon tayo ng transparency ngayon na bukas yung Bicam. Hindi katulad last year na pag bukas ng Bicam, pag hindi na namin alam, tinawag na lang kami, sasara na yung Bicam. So hindi kami pumirma. Ba't kami pipirma? Hindi nga namin alam anong pinag-usapan. Salamat. At ngayon, maririnig na po ng taong bayan ang pinag-uusapan dito. It has been my call for a participative budget process. Dapat talaga involved ang ating mga kababayan sa bawat proseso. Pera po ng taong bayan ang pinag-uusapan dito, kaya dapat alam nila yung anong prosesong ginagawa. This is in line with Section 28, Article 2 of the 1987 Constitution, which declares that the state adopts and implements a policy of full public disclosure of all its transactions involving public interest. Napakahalaga po yan at Section 7, Article 3 of the Constitution provides that the right of the people to information on matters of public concern shall be recognized. Salamat po. Meron na tayong ino-observe na natin this year po yan. Last year, wala po. Tama po si Congressman Libanan, sir, tama po kayo na last year may pondo paglabas sa Bicam na zero na po. Yun po ang ating ikinalulungkot dahil hindi po kami nakaparticipate po sa Bicam. Nag-opening hanggang pagsasara. Hindi po ako pumirma noon sa Bicam, for the record. Salamat po.
All right. Any more opening statements? Kung wala naman po, pursuant to Article 6, Section 24 of the 1987 Constitution, which provides that all appropriations, revenue, or tax bills authorizing an increase of public debt, bills of local application, and private bills shall originate exclusively in the House of Representatives, but the Senate may propose or concur with amendments. The House Bill number 4058, as approved by the House of Representatives, will be used and flashed on the screen as the base bill. Consistent with our observed practice and in accordance with this constitutional provision, the Senate made its amendments directly to the House bill. The House of Representatives has been provided with the amendments to House Bill number 4058, as approved by the Senate on reading. Electronic copies were transmitted on December 9, 2025, and hard copies were delivered on December 11, 2025. To maintain an orderly discussion, we will tackle the budget on a department/agency basis. We request that interventions be made at the appropriate time as each agency is called. And if may I suggest to Congresswoman Mika, I heard in her opening statement that the House had made significant improvements to the National Expenditure Program. It's good to highlight those improvements so that our constituents can see the efforts and the interventions that the House of Representatives made to the different departments in order to make the budget more efficient and also improve the delivery of services. So, we will flash on the screen the General Appropriations Bill. This is the General Appropriations Bill. And if I may suggest, Kong Mika, suggestion po to na para po ma-discuss natin ng maayos itong line-by-line amendments. Ang suggestion ko po, umpisahan ho natin sa mga improvements na ginawa po ng House sa National Expenditure Program para makita naman po ng taong bayan yung kanina pong i-finlash ho ninyo na improvements in the different departments. And I suggest we start off with the education sector kasi yan po yung ating common direction for the two chambers.
I agree with that approach, Sanbin. So we can go through every single department and then we can start from, we'll start to discuss the changes that we've done from NEP to GAB, and then I'll turn over it to you, Mr. Chair.
So to make it more efficient, I suggest that we finish, let's say, the Office of the Secretary first, and then we go to a different department, and then we can open the floor to discussions after that. No? So para po orderly po yung discussions, pwede pong umpisahan ho natin sa mga iba't ibang departamento at iba't ibang opisina sa ilalim po ng departamento na yun. So unahin ho natin, I'll turn over first the floor to you, Congresswoman Mika, and after you, we'll propose the changes from the Senate. And if there are any questions, we can open the floor.
Sanbin, I'll just request for 1 minute to open my files. It seems like the internet connectivity in the room is a little bit slow, so I'm unable to open some of the files. I request for a quick 1 minute lang po, just to open the files.
One minute suspension.
In the National Expenditure Program to 914.1 billion pesos. That is a total increase of 39.6 billion pesos to the Department of Education. What are the components of the increase? The first would be the under administration of personal benefits for overtime pay for teachers, honoraria for teaching overload, relocation allowance, terminal leave benefits. We increased it from the current 5.5 billion pesos in the NEP by 579.5 million pesos to a total of 6.11 billion pesos in the in the HGAB. Next, for learner support programs, the next item actually would be the basic education facilities program that would pertain to the increase in the classrooms that would be built. We increased it from the 28.1 billion pesos in the NEP to an increase of 63.2 billion pesos. That is a total increase of 35.1 billion pesos towards the construction of classrooms, which, as mentioned earlier, will translate to 25,200 new and rehabilitated classrooms. Next would be the textbooks and other instructional materials. From the 11.2 billion pesos in the NEP, we propose to increase it by 50 million pesos to 11.2 billion pesos in the HGAB. Next would be under the basic education curriculum, and this pertains to improving services. This is actually in relation to ARAL, the tutoring program of ARAL. From the current 3.6 billion pesos in the NEP, we increase it by 984 million pesos to a total of 4.55 billion pesos. Under the flexible learning options, that being ADM, ALS, and EIE, we propose to increase it by 306 million pesos from 4.36 billion pesos in the NEP to 4.67 billion pesos in the HGAB. Next would be the Madrasa education program. We propose to increase it by 26.25 million pesos from the current 495 million to 521.7 million pesos. Under the school-based feeding program, from the current 11.78 billion pesos, we propose to increase it by 1.83 billion pesos, thereby putting school-based feeding program at 13.6 billion pesos. And lastly, this is pertaining to the Palarong Pambansa. We propose to increase the current allotment under the physical fitness and school sports from 481.6 billion pesos up to 531.6 million pesos. So in total, Mr. Chair, that would be an additional increase of 39.61 billion pesos towards the Office of the Secretary under the Department of Education. So the biggest increase, if I were to summarize lang po, Mr. Chair, ang pinakamalaki po nating ilalaan ay kadagdagang 35 billion pesos para po sa pagtatayo ng kadagdagang 25,000 na mga classrooms, 25,000 classrooms, at para po sa school-based feeding program, magdadagdag po tayo ng 1.83 billion pesos para mas dumami po yung bilang ng araw na pwede po nating mapakain yung mga estudyante sa mga paaralan. Yun po, Mr. Chair, those are our main amendments pertaining to the Office of the Secretary.
Maraming salamat, Congresswoman Mika. At maraming salamat po doon sa mga improvements at increases na ginawa ng House of Representatives sa National Expenditure Program. So on the part of the Senate, ito po yung mga proposals po ng Senate for the Department of Education, Office of the Secretary, to the amount of 958 billion pesos, and the composition of the Office of the Secretary is for administration of personal benefits, an amount of 8.4 billion pesos, learner support programs, an amount of 5,114 million pesos, child protection program, 89 million pesos, disaster preparedness and response, 3.772 billion pesos, policy research program, 2.343 billion pesos, basic education curriculum, 5.674 billion pesos, national literacy policy and programs, 105 million pesos, learning tools and equipment, 288 billion pesos, textbooks and other instructional materials, 19.5 billion pesos. Basic education facilities, 85.3 billion pesos. Public schools infrastructure program, 330 million pesos. Flexible learning options, 4.9 billion pesos. Madrasa education program, 521 million pesos. School-based feeding program, 25.6 billion pesos. Ito po, in-increase po ng Senado para po ma-increase yung number of days from 120 days to 200 days for kindergarten and grade 1. For government assistance and subsidies, 100 million 800 for School Innovation and Improvement Fund to all DepEd schools, 2.289 billion pesos. To Human Resource Development and Personnel in Schools and Learning Centers, this is 4.6 billion pesos. Projects for learning, upgrade, support, and decentralization, this is foreign assisted to ito. Ito, no change pa ito. For project and learning upgrade support and project for learning upgrade support and decentralization, there's no change. For physical fitness and school sports, ito po yung palarong pambansa, 739 million pesos. For operations of schools for elementary, kindergarten to grade 6, 358 million pesos. For operations of schools, junior high school, grade 7 to 10, 197 million pesos. Billion pesos. For operations of school, senior high school, grades 11 to 12, 69 billion pesos. And then we realign the last mile schools to the basic education facilities. So those are the proposals of the Senate.
Thank you very
Any
much,
comments?
Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
We'd like to open the floor for comments from the body. Both proposals have been put forth. Maybe a request for any comments from the conferees.
Mr. Chair, Madam Chair.
Go ahead,
I was
Senator.
just wondering, saan po dito nakasama? Kasi sa mga classrooms po natin, yung mga electric fan, mukhang wala po dito. Saan po ba dito sa item na ito? Mga upuan, ng mga sira-sira? Because nung last election, Mr. Chair, dito lang sa Quezon City, 50 yung estudyante, yung electric fan, dalawa lang, sara pa yung apat. Napakainit, so mga estudyante hindi nakakapag-focus. Will that fall under basic education facilities, Mr. Chair?
Tama po. Nasa loob po siya ng basic education facilities.
I thought this is only for mga new classrooms.
Kasama na rin po dyan yung mga accessories for classrooms.
So, such as electric fans and then yung mga exhaust fans.
Exhaust fans,
Desk, chairs.
desk, ilaw, kasama na rin po dyan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Opo. Nasa special provision ho siya ng BEF, Mr. President. Any comments? Any questions? Any motion?
Hintay ba? Yes. By
Madam Chair, kung pwede magtanong.
Yes, Representative Libanan.
In line with the question of Senator Erwin, maraming schools po natin na nangangailangan ng TV sets at saka Wi-Fi na facility. Saan po dito? Dito rin po ba sa basic education facilities?
That is a different line item po. Under DepEd, there is a different digitalization component in the budget. So meron po doon na ICT, specifically for the provision of Wi-Fi to the different schools all throughout the country. So meron din pong pondo para doon.
Thank you po.
Ang sinasabi po ninyo, sorry Mr. Chair, Madam Chair, yung digitalization project na nasa NEP, iba pa yung ITC na sinasabi mo?
I'll pull out po,
Kasi
Senator.
nahihirapan ako dito sa format po, Mr. Chair, Senator Gatchalian po. Kung maari, in the interest of true transparency, I think it's basic that we include the NEP or the President budget of 2026. It's most confusing to merely see the Congress and the Senate versions. Also, we should be allowed to compare it to the JA of 2025 para maliwanag ang kwenta. Kasi hindi maliwanag po ang kwenta rito. Ang pagkaalam ko, hindi nakasulat dito, pero dun sa NEP, 16.48 billion, tama po ba yung digitalization na tinatanong ni Congressman Libanan, ni Nonoy?
Particularly po, doon sa internet subscription services, 5.8, tama po yun, at a total of 16 billion pesos. Info and communications technology or laptops amounting
Yes.
to 8.9.
At yan ay hindi dinagdagan o binawasan ng Kongreso at ng Senado. As is lang, maintain lang yung NEP. Tama po ba?
Tama po yun.
Okay. Kung maari lang sa ating mga chair, hinihingi ko lang na sana ilagay yung JA 2025 na maintindihan natin yung NEP 2026 dahil konting paggalang sa sinumite ng ating Pangulo. At eto nga, yung basic education facilities, medyo ito ang mabigat ang galawan, ano? Kasi nakita natin dito sa GAA 2025, 28.1 billion noong 2025. Tapos, nung NEP, 28.056 ang linagay ng Pangulo at ng DBM, pagkat alam din natin na 22 lang ang classroom na ipatayo. At ang disbursement rate nila ay bagsak na bagsak sa 23%. Ngunit dinagdagan ng Kongreso ng 63 billion mahigit at lumobo pa sa Senado ng 85 billion. Hindi ako tumututol sa pagdagdag ng classroom. Ang tinatanong ko lang, tama ba itong ginagawa natin? Hindi nagagastos, dagdag tayo ng dagdag, bilyon-bilyon nag-umpisa sa 28, di magastos, 23% lang ang accomplishment. Lumobo sa 63 at lumaki panlalo sa 85. Tanong lang po.
Opo, go ahead.
Actually, Senator Amy, ang backlog po natin sa classrooms is about 165,000. At kailangan po tayo mag-allocate ng about 400 billion pesos para lang makahabol. So ito ho ay hindi pa nga ho tayo nakakahabol ho dito. Ito ay para lang ma-decongest ho natin yung mga highly urbanized areas. Ang magiging method at mekanismo ng Department of Education ay papasok po sila sa number 1, PPP. Number 2, counterparting with the LGUs. Number 3, counterparting with the CSOs. Number 4, counterparting with NGOs. So, ang kanilang strategy is sabay-sabay gagawa ngayon ng classrooms. So, ito po ay napag-usapan naman during the hearing, during the budget deliberation, at base po sa calculation ng DepEd, kaya naman ho nilang i-implement ho ito, basta sabay-sabay ho nilang i-implement.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Ang akin lamang, kapag ganito kababa ang disbursement rate, klaro na hindi budget ang issue. Walang kakayahan ng DepEd magpatayo ng ganyang kadami at ang public works man. Sabihin na nga natin na iba-iba ang gagawin ng PPP, ng NGO, CSO at iba't iba pang tropa, LGU. Ang tanong ko po, wala namang maliwanag na plano. Kasi ang totoo, nagawa na po natin to. Hindi naman sa pagmamalaki, pero yung massive school building program po ng dekada 70, alalay po ako noon ng ama ko at nakita natin na new technology sa building ng prefab nung panahon na yon. Sa ngayon, wala naman tayong sinasaad na modular or ibang prefab na technology or smart technology na napakarami ng foam concrete at kung ano-ano pa. Wala naman nababanggit na ganon. At dyan tayo makakamura, alam natin yan. Ikalawa, wala namang prioritization, yung color-coded po ng DepEd. Kabisado po natin yan, galing tayo sa LGU, hindi naman ganun kaliwanag. Pagkatapos, wala namang kaakibat ito na programa para sa ating teachers. Hanggang ngayon, alam naman natin, teacher natin, ang baba-baba ng sahod. So, marami pong dahilan. At ang lalagay ng napakalaking budget, baka hindi ito ang tanging sagot lamang. Yun lang po, obserbasyon lamang. Ano ang absorption rate na totoo ng DepEd? Apakababa, nasa 23%.
Actually, maraming salamat, Senator Amy, sa inyong mga komento. At actually, ang nangyari ho kasi, merong special provision na ibinibigay lang exclusively sa DPWH ang construction. No? So, for 2 years, almost 5 years, no? DPWH lang po ang nagko-construct ng classroom, farm-to-market roads, hospitals, yung health centers. So ngayon, under this budget, i-allow na ho natin ang mga iba't ibang ehensya na pumasok po sa counterparting with LGUs. No? Kung gusto ho nilang makipag-partner with LGUs, pwede ho sila mag-partner para ho mabilis yung construction dahil ang LGUs ho, alam naman ho natin, mas mabilis ho mag-construct. Before I continue, let me recognize the presence of Senator Mark Villar, one of our conferees.
Mr. Chair. Yes, we appreciate the concerns of Senator Marcos, and as the chair mentioned, there are several options that Secretary Angara had mentioned in our hearings and in plenary, and that would be including letting the local governments implement the school building program, and we appreciate that. And in fact, Senator Aquino, I think, and Senator Pangilinan mentioned also about the possibility of CSOs and PPPs with accredited private sector partners. So having said that, if there's no other question, Mr. Chair, I would like to move for the DepEd Office of the Secretary budget to be approved.
Mr. Chair.
Oh,
Yes.
yes,
I have
Senator Tulfo.
one quick question. Kanina ko pa po hinahanap dito sa Office of the Secretary. Ito po yung mga hinihingi lagi ng mga teacher, ng mga PTA sa mga estudyante sa public schools. Mga simple, walis, tingting, dustpan, pag naglinis ng classroom, basahan, tapos pag malapit ng graduation, mga dekorasyon sa mga stage. Hinihingi po ito sa mga estudyante. Ang dami na pong reklamo na ganito. Saan po banda rito kaya nakasama? Parang wala ho yata. Parang,
Dito po sa MOOE, ito po yung operations of schools, elementary, junior high school, senior high school.
doon po sa operation schools.
Yeah. Pasok MOE ho to ng mga eskwelahan.
Maraming salamat po, Mr. Chair.
So there's a pending motion to approve the Office of the Secretary. Any second?
On the part of the House, Madam Chair, Mr. Chair, we second the motion.
Before that, since I'm the movant, I just want to make sure that we put on record before we finalize it, the HGAB number and the BICAM number that we are approving so that it's on the record. May we ask the chair to do that, if you agree, because many figures are being discussed. May we kindly put on record the HGAB figure and the BICAM figure that we are approving? But I so move.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And there's a duly seconded, so the budget of the Office of the Secretary, Department of Education is hereby approved. Those summaries, Madam Chair, will be provided prior to the signing of the BICAM report. In fact, dito po sa BICAM, hindi ho natin isa-sign to kaagad. Ipiprint na muna po yung mga dokumento, ipiprint na po yung pre-enrolled copy, at iproprovide yun sa members para po makita ho nila bago ho tayo mag-sign. No?
Thank you.
All right?
Mr. Chair, in response to the query of the Honorable Legarda, the current total under the Office of the Secretary would go from the current HGAB level of 912 to a total of 958.7 billion pesos. So that would be a total increase of 46.2 billion pesos.
May I ask for 1 minute suspension, please?
1 minute suspension.
Actually, on the part of the House, Mr. Chair, we retained all the items from the NEP to the HGAB. So the current amounts for the two items mentioned here, promotion, development, and implementation, would be 128.8 million pesos, and for general management and supervision, 115.5 million pesos. So we retained the NEP levels for both of these items.
Thank you very much, Chairperson Mika. On the part of the Senate, the budget proposal for the National Academy of Sports is 540 million pesos. And this is composed of promotions, development, and implementation of quality and enhanced sports integrated secondary program, general management, and supervision. Let me just dictate. For promotions and development is 344 million pesos. For general management and supervision, 194 million pesos. So any questions, any comments? Hearing none, any motion? Yeah. Yeah. Any motion to approve National Academy of Sports?
I move to approve, Mr. Chair, the National Academy of Sports.
Any second?
Second.
Duly seconded. The National Academy of Sports is hereby approved. The National Book Development Board,
For the National Book Development Board, Mr. Chair, among the four items mentioned here, we propose an increase in the general management and supervision by 40.3 million pesos, which brings the total to that. So here for the National Book Development Board, the levels under the HGAB would be 40.3 for the general management and supervision, 7.5 million for the policy development, 91.6 million for capacity building, and 12.5 million for administration of awards.
on the part of the Senate, we propose a 202 million pesos for the National Book Development Board, composed of general management and supervision, policy to a tune of 57 million, policy development, research, information system and management, and information campaign, 10.5 million pesos, capacity building and trade promotions incentives, 118 million pesos, administrative of awards, grant and incentives, 50 million pesos. Any questions? Any questions, po?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I move for approval of the proposed budget for the National Book Development Board to the tune of a total of 202 million, with the breakdown as stated by our Chair, Wing Gatchalian. So move.
Thank you. Any second?
I second the motion. Mr.
Second.
Chair.
Thank you. The duly seconded. The budget of the National Book Development Board is duly approved. And the motion of Congressman Rufus is perfect, being a former member or a former participant and advocate of the National Book Development Board.
And the first, Mr. Chairman, the first legal counsel
The
of
first legal
NBDB,
counsel pala.
because I was a lawyer and I was the lawyer of the Publishers Association of the Philippines, and we drafted the bill. Thank you.
Alam ko, malapit po sa puso ho ninyo ang book development, book publishing industry. Next will be the National Council for Children's Television.
On the part of the National Council for Children's Television, the House proposes the retention of the items stated herein in the HGAB from the NEP. For general management and supervision, 21.9 million, and for child-friendly television development services at 49.3 million.
The Senate proposes a 116 million budget for the National Council for Children's Television, composed of general management and supervision, 26 million, child-friendly television development services, 89 million. Any questions?
I move, Mr. Chair, that we approve the National Council for Children's Television budget.
Any second?
Second.
Duly seconded. The National Council for Children's Television budget is hereby approved. Next will be the National Museum, an organization very close to the heart of Senator Lawrence. So
On
Congressman
the po-
Mika, any?
On the part of the House, under the National Museum of the Philippines, we propose the retention of the NEP levels for from the current 811.9 million pesos. And in terms of the breakdown, we propose to retain the 423 million pesos lodged under general management and supervision.
Thank you for that. The Senate propose a 986 million peso budget composed of general management and supervision of 468 million, a locally funded project, development of National Museum of the Philippines, NMP, General Aniceto Lacson Ancestral House, Talisay City, Negros Occidental, of 50 million. Another LFP, development of Calibo, Aklan, 20 million pesos. Another locally funded project, development of NMP, Coronadal and Lake Cebu, Cotabato, South Cotabato, Phase 2, 40 million pesos. Another LFP, exhibition and fit out of various National Museum of the Philippines Central and Regional Sites, Northern Luzon National Museums of 20 million pesos. Any questions? Hearing none, any motion?
Second motion, Mr. Chair.
Duly seconded by Senator Erwin. The National Museum of the Philippines budget is hereby approved. The Philippine High School for the Arts.
For the Philippine High School of the Arts, on the part of the House, we propose the retention of the current level in the NEP, which is 157 million, 95 million under General Management and Supervision, and 53.9 under operation of the Philippine High School for the Arts.
The Senate proposed a 218 million peso budget for the Philippine High School for the Arts. General Management and Supervision, 150 million. Operation of Philippine High School for the Arts, including outreach, screening, student exchange program with other countries, and production activities, 59 million pesos. Any questions? Or a motion to?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the 218 million appropriation for the Philippine High School for the Arts.
Any second?
Second motion, Mr. Chair.
Duly seconded. The budget for the Philippine High School for the Arts, duly approved. The Teacher Education Council.
On the part of the House, under Teacher Education Council, we propose the retention of the current NEP level at 207 million, 163 million under Quality Teacher Education Services, and 44.4 million under General Management and Supervision.
The Senate proposed a 562 million peso budget composed of Quality Teacher Education Services, 516 million pesos, General Management and Supervision, 46 million pesos. Any questions or motion?
Mr. Chair, quick question lang po. Itong Quality Teachers Education Service, ito po ba ay kasama dun sa training ng mga teachers natin, further education, yung mga masteral nila? Because ang dami tayong mga teachers last year na naloko po dito sa Region 4B at saka sa Mindanao, nagkuha ng masteral, pero fake pala yung eskwelahan. And they have to make loans, Mr. Chair. So kung ito ay, this will fall under this category, then magagamit ng mga teachers natin for advancement and for promotion, Mr. Chair.
Tama ho kayo, ito po ay para po sa mga pre-service and in-service teacher training. First time po na magkakaroon ng ganitong budget ang TEC para po tuloy-tuloy po yung pag-training po ng ating mga teachers. So meron, kukuha ho sila ng 720 teacher scholars with this budget po.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right, any motion?
Therefore move, Mr. Chair, that we approve the Teachers Education Council budget.
Any second? Second. Duly seconded. The budget of the Teacher Education Council is hereby approved. So we go to state universities and colleges.
Before we move to that, Mr. Chair, if I may, I would just like to quickly summarize the increases siguro sa major items, just so the general public would be able to see how much we increased from the NEP levels po siguro, para mapakita po natin na talaga po totoo yung ating commitment na itaas po yung budget natin sa education. Siguro po, for the sake of expediency po, I'll focus only on the big ticket items. So under the Department of Education, the total increase would be 86.8 billion pesos from the NEP level, from 874.5 billion pesos in the NEP to a final number of 961.3 million. Siguro po yung pinakamalaki na lang po siguro na increases under the Basic Education Facilities Program, that would be a total increase of 57.3 billion pesos. So halos siguro po mahina na po na 35,000 classrooms po yung ating maipapagawa para po sa taong 2026. Maganda po yun kung maaalala po natin, ang binanggit po ng ating Pangulo nung kanyang SONA ay 40,000 pesos po yung target na maipatayo na classrooms by 2026. So dahil po sa atin pong inilaan na pondo para sa Basic Education Facilities Program para sa 2026. Halos kaya na po natin yung punan. Konti na lang po, matatamaan na po natin yung target natin na supposedly sa 2028 pa. Sunod po, under the textbooks and other instructional materials, we are increasing it by 8.3 billion pesos from the NEP level of 11.1 to the final number of 19.5. So malaki po yung papel na gagampanan nito para po mapunan na yung kakulangan po sa mga libro at mga kagamitan sa ating po mga paaralan. Pagdating po sa school-based feeding program, mula po atin pong magdadagdag po tayo ng 13.9 billion pesos mula po sa 11.7 billion sa NEP, paakyat po sa 25.7 billion pesos. I think, Mr. Chair, correct me if I'm wrong, that represents an increase from 120 days to 180 days para po sa ating mga estudyante. So ano po, maganda po yun kasi halos lahat na po ng araw na pumapasok sila, meron na pong feeding program para po sa kanila. Siguro, Mr. Chair, there are a lot of other items, but I'd just like to highlight the biggest increase, and that would be in terms of classrooms, in terms of textbooks, at saka pagdating po sa school-based feeding program. Mahalaga din po na ating po ipaalam sa ating mga kababayan na kahit ano pong programa sa Department of Education, hindi po tayo bumaba mula po sa NEP. Lahat po ng mga programa, itinaas po natin mula po sa level ng NEP. Kaya yun po, Mr. Chair, I just wanted to manifest that para po maipakita po natin na talagang totoo po yung sinasabi ng parehong Kongreso at ng Senado na talaga pong binibigyan po natin ng napakalaking prioridad ang edukasyon para sa budget sa 2026. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Mr. Chairperson, just to add, kaya natin dinagdagan from 120 days, actually to 200 days, dahil yun ang concern, 200. 200, no? 200, di ba? 200, oh. Dahil ang concern ng ating mga teachers ay bumabalik sa malnutrition at wasting pag hindi kumpleto yung number of days na yung feeding program. Therefore, nasasayang lang yung ginagastos dahil hindi matapos yung 120 days, bumabalik yung wasting. That's why it's 200. And therefore, hopefully, from here, moving forward, sana sa susunod ng mga budget, maging universal na, hindi lamang doon sa mga malnourished, severely malnourished at wasting ng mga bata, kung hindi maging universal na itong free meals program para sa ating primary and up to junior high. But of course, that's a aspiration moving forward. But this is a welcome first step.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Representative Brian Ramsuan.
I just would like to manifest na during the BARC hearing natin dun sa House, you suggested the increase of budget, especially dun sa mga kitchen facilities ng mga schools para dun sa feeding program. Mas maganda ko kasi na pag sila na yung nagluluto ng mga para una, hindi nasisira, hindi dinadala ng, kumbaga yung travel time pa lahat to, minsan nagkakaroon ng kumbaga nasisira yung pagkain. At siguraduhin natin, ito kasi yung mga low-hanging fruit na kailangan nating isipin na gawin nating magandang pasilidad sa kanilang lugar kasi minsan wala silang area na paglulutuan talaga. At napakahalaga dahil willing naman po yung SPTA, very active dyan, yung mga parents, teachers, willing silang gumawa ng mga ganitong klaseng programa para sa atin. If we can encourage all the SPTAs all over the country to do the same and with an increased budget, I think, gaya na sinabi niyo, Senator Kiko, one step closer tayo dun sa dream na ma-achieve natin itong mga ganitong klaseng programa.
Mr. Chairman, just to add very quickly, in the deliberations in the Senate with Secretary Sani Angara, he has also reassured us or assured us that he will cascade to the regions yung purchases ng feeding programs na ito. And we manifested during the debates that yung Sagip Saka Act, which is Republic Act 11321, wherein government can now buy directly sa farmers and fisher folk organization na wala ng public bidding. So yung feeding program na madadagdagan ng 13 billion, no? Dapat yes, yung milk feeding program plus yung actual feeding program sa ating primary schools, dapat a significant portion of the budget should be allocated for purchases directly sa mga local farming and fishing communities para sariwa ang pagkain at nakakatulong pa sa ating mga local producers, ang ating mga magsasaka, mangingisda, and therefore the local economy will also benefit.
Maraming salamat, Senator Kiko. So we go to SUCs and state universities and colleges. We start with the University of the Philippines, the University of the Philippines system.
Mr. Chair, I just wanted to ask about this because there are 113 SUCs. If we go through each one line by line, that would be at least 1,000, like 500 line items that we have to go through. So my recommendation po, Mr. Chair, if I may, since there are substantial changes in the UP system, we can take that up separately. But as to the rest of the SUCs, perhaps we can tackle it by region. Kasi po medyo 113 SUCs po ito.
It's just, Kong Mika, if, I think para rin marinig rin ng ating mga constituents yung mga SUC, I suggest we can go through each SUC. Kung
No, we're just, Mr. Chair, my suggestion is we'll just mention the total amount of budget for each SUC.
Actually, ang per SUC will have about 2 or 3 locally funded project.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it's manageable if you ako ang tingin ko
But
manageable.
I just based off the quick estimate of Sen. Lauren, that would be 2 hours just on the discussion of the SUCs if we go line by line. But if we take the suggestion of Sen. Erwin po, we'll do, if we can do just the totals for the SUCs instead of going through every single line item under each SUC.
I
If that's
suggest we can go, the House can go through one pass with all SUCs, and then we go one pass with all SUCs instead of
Okay.
approving it one SUC per
Yes.
SUC.
Kung mapagod yung chair, pwede si Kong Christine, pwede si Kong Maricar, pwedeng si Attorney Rufus. Ayun, oh, sige. Per region. No, pwede nga. Then we just approve
Yes,
it after.
yes,
Parang
yes.
tuloy-tuloy
If there are any
ginabasa.
questions, then we can ask, we can take questions after the SUCs. Yeah.
Babasahin lang.
Sige po. Let's do that. So we'll do one quick pass on all the SUCs. First would be the University of the Philippines system. We propose to add an additional 1 billion pesos for Project NOAA. And this one po actually, while it's lodged under the UP system, Sir, I'll ask for permission just to elaborate on this point a little bit because it's very important for both houses. For Project NOAA, while the funding is lodged within the UP system, we actually increased the funding for Project NOAA for the benefit of the whole country and all the agencies, primarily the DPWH. Ang hinihingi po natin sa Project NOAA, kapag binigay na po natin yung pondo na to, is for them to work more closely with the DPWH in terms of refining the way that flood control projects are designed and monitored. Ang pangako po ng Project NOAA sa atin, alam ko pa binanggit din po nila sa hearing nila sa Senado, ay kapag nabigyan po sila ng sapat na pondo, they can actually help DPWH design the flood control project. So, hindi na po magkakaroon ng pagkakataon na makakapaglagay po ng flood control project sa lugar na hindi naman talaga kailangang lagyan. They will be able to simulate a particular area and pinpoint exactly up to the coordinates level where a flood control structure should be placed. Aside from that po, they will be able to simulate the height that is required to actually mitigate the flooding in that area. So yun po yung pinakahinihingi natin sa Project NOAA na sana po sa pamamagitan ng 1 bilyong piso na ating pong ibibigay sa kanila sa susunod na taon po, sa taong 2027, mas maganda na po yung pagdisenyo ng mga flood control at flood mitigation systems. So that would be our amendment under the UP system, under Philippine Energy Research and Policy Institute. Actually, we don't have amendments in that. For the National Capital Region.
Mr. Chair,
yes, go
Madam
ahead
Chair,
po.
may I intervene? What the good chairwoman is mentioning is actually under the UP Resilience Institute, yes. And just this was actually initiated way back in 2012, and we're only funding it in 2025. But during the time of Congressman Salceda, he and I had a budgetary amendment, not insertion, for the building of the UPRI. I'm not certain if it's up already, but it was 3 presidents ago that the UPRI in 2012, the president who became DTI Secretary, Pascual, yes, Fred and I were discussing this in 2012, the creation of the UP Institute, Resilience Institute. So thank you for mentioning Project NOAA of Mahar Lagmay, who was with DOST before. And I'm just putting a historical perspective because people might say, grabe, ang laki, 1 bilyon. Ano po, 13 years po nag-antay. And when this was conceptualized in 2012, I think I was defending their budget then, it was a very small amount during the time of President Pascual. So we support that, Mr. Chair. We upheld it in the Senate. Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Senator Lauren. Yes, Representative Habi
Yes.
Benitez.
May I add to that manifestation? But before I begin with my manifestation, I'd like to say that as a first-timer bicameral committee member, I'm honored and grateful and the only neophyte on this contingent. I expect to listen intently, work collaboratively, and to pass a fair and impactful budget for the Filipino people. What I do want to share that it was House Bill number 2577 that I filed in Congress for the 20th Congress, supporting the National Resilience Institute to make it a national, the UP Resilience Institute in the UP system to become a National Resilience Institute. And I do want to share and to add that the UP RI, which was powered by Project NOAA, has made accurate and real-time, high-quality hazard maps. No, and it has been used by a lot of local government units. And ever since nangyayari po sa atin yung mga climate disasters po sa atin, there's been, since it was updated in 2023, the website has had 35 million searches online. And during peak times, 2.6 million searches a day. Now, so it's very important that we can identify for flood mitigation efforts. And so, albeit this is seemingly large, 1 billion, but they need to update the hazard maps for the entire country, and last that has been updated was 2012. So I commend the Chair, Chair Mika, and of course Barsi, as well as the Senate for putting the 1 billion to Project NOAA. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Just to marry the manifestation of Senator Legarda and Representative Benitez, actually, yung point po ni Senator Lauren, tama po yun. Kasi in the last few years, I think, bumaba po sila from having over 500 billion in allocations down to only 36 million a year. So, and despite the huge budget cut, they were still able to create all of these accurate hazard maps, which a lot of our kababayans really rely on, especially in times of flooding and rains. Ang maganda po dito, pagdating po sa Project NOAA, they're able to pinpoint exactly what color each zone is in terms of flooding hazard. So there's red zone, orange, and yellow. So ang pinag-uusapan po sa DPWH ay pwede pong pagbasihan yung hazard maps ng Project NOAA para po malaman kung saan lang pwede maglagay ng flood control structures sa mga susunod na taon. So just to marry po, send with the manifestations of Representative Legarda and Senator Legarda and Representative Benitez. Moving on, Mr. Chair, after the UP system, we go to the schools under the National Capital Region. On the part of the House, we propose an increase to the Polytechnic University of the Philippines of an increase of 55 million pesos from the current 3.623 million in the NEP to 3.67 million. Where's the other 30? I'm missing. For the under the Ilocos region, we propose an increase of my apologies, Mr. Chair, let me go straight to the Cordillera Administrative Region. Mr. Chair, may I request for a minute suspension?
Session suspended.
Thank you very much, and my apologies for the delay. Under the UP system, Mr. Chair, my apologies. Aside from the 1 billion that we're adding in Project NOAA, we're actually adding another 20 million under the UP system. So that's a total of 1 billion 20 million. And then for the National Capital Region, we are adding 55 million to the Polytechnic University of the Philippines and 30 million for the Rizal Technological University. In the Ilocos region, Region 1, we are proposing an increase of 429 million pesos for the Mariano Marcos State University And under the Cordillera Administrative Region, we propose an increase of 20 million to the Ifugao State University. Under the Cagayan Valley, we propose an increase of 332 million pesos for the Isabela State University. Under Region 3, we propose a 95 million increase to the Aurora State College of Technology and a 100 million increase to the Bulacan State University. Under Region 4, we propose an increase of 50 million pesos for Southern Tagalog and Palawan. We propose an increase of 10 million pesos for Region 4 under Laguna State Polytechnic University. An increase of 40 million pesos to the Occidental Mindoro State College. An increase of 35 million pesos under the Catanduanes State University. An increase of 8.803 million for the Carlos C. Helado Memorial State College in the Negros Island region. An increase of 80 million pesos under Region 7, Cebu Technological University. In the region of Eastern Visayas, we propose an increase of 70 million pesos for Eastern Samar State University, 125 million pesos for Biliran Province State University or the Naval State University, an increase of 40 million pesos for the Samar State University, 30 million pesos for the Southern Leyte State University, 100 million pesos for the University of Eastern Philippines, and 150 million pesos for the Visayas State University. In Soxargen, Region 12, we propose an increase of 30 million pesos for the South Cotabato State College, an increase of 14 million pesos in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region for the Mindanao State University. So, Mr. Chair, those are all of our proposed increases for state universities and colleges, totaling 2.859 billion pesos.
On the part of the Senate, we'll start off with the University of the Philippines dahil maraming taga-UP ho dito. Itong Senator Kiko yata taga-UP. Senator Lauren din. So we'll start off with UP. For the University of the Philippine System, locally funded projects, renovation of PAS, Mendoza Hall, UP Manila, 30 million pesos. A locally funded project, treatment of X-linked dystonia Parkinson's, also known as Lubag syndrome, UPPGH, 15 million. I think this is your intervention, the Parkinson's project.
It's a very unique, it's a rare disease, only found in the island of Panay in Region 6. Yun ang request ni Dr. Gap Legaspi.
This is under PGH or UP?
PGH.
PGH, no? Is PGH under UP?
Yes.
Okay. Locally funded projects, digitalization of oral narratives, UP Visayas, 12 million pesos. Locally funded projects, scholarship programs for professional masters in tropical marine ecosystem management and professional masters in operations oceanography, PMMO, Marine Science Institute, UP Diliman, 10.9 million pesos. Locally funded projects, development and implementation of the Philippine Secondary Leavers Assessment, 2026 to 2027, 200 million pesos. Hospital Services Program, provision of medical services, 6.7 billion pesos. I believe this is for UPPGH. Hospital Services Program, Universal Care Fund for Zero Balance Billing, 800 million pesos. UP Philippine Eye Research Institute, UP Peri, 81 million pesos. increase in carrying capacity of UP Manila College of Medicine Simulation Laboratory, 20 million pesos. Futures Thinking Research Program, UP Los Baños, 2 million pesos. Upgrading and commissioning of the Structural Engineering Laboratory for Earthquake Engineering, Institute of Civil Engineering, UP Diliman. Ba't wala ito? Sorry, the completion and commissioning of the wind tunnel facility for typhoon studies, Institute of Civil Engineering, UP Diliman, 250 million pesos. Establishments of Governance Reform, Innovation and Transformation Laboratory, GRIT Labs, UP National College of Public Administration and Governance, UP Diliman, 30 million pesos. Student Athletes Training and Competition Assistance Program, 30 million pesos. Implementation of the National Vision Screening Program, UP Manila, 10 million pesos. Integrated Mentoring and Mental Wellness Program, UP College of Medicine, Manila, 5 million pesos. Construction, rehabilitation of audiovisual room, South Road Properties Campus, UP Cebu, 21 million pesos. Construction, completion of dormitory for graduate students, UP Los Baños, 21.4 million pesos. Establishment of Health Innovation Hub, UP Mindanao, 18 million pesos. Development of the UP Artificial Intelligence Research Tool, UP System, 5.4 million pesos. Digital Futures Research Hub, empowering doctoral graduates through a collaborative mentoring system, UP Open University, 12 million pesos. Heritage Digitization and Publication Project, National Institute of Islamic Studies and Civilizations, UP Institute of Islamic Studies, UP Diliman, 5.5 million pesos. Smart Library, National Institute of Islamic Studies and Civilizations, UP Institute of Islamic Studies, UP Diliman, 4.5 million pesos. Repair and Rehabilitation of Atienza Hall, Department of Military Science, UP Diliman, 10 million pesos. And we go to the Philippine Energy Research and Policy Institute. The proposal is to the amount of 72 million pesos. And it's composed of the following: General and Administration and Support, 30 million pesos. Research and Development and Policy Utilization Program, provision of research services and policy development, 23 million pesos. Operation Technical Advisory Extension Program, provision of extension services, 18.7 million pesos. Now for the other SUCs in the National Capital Region, the Eulogio Amang Rodriguez Institute of Science and Technology, the proposal is 530 million pesos, composed of repainting of Iris Building and replacement of old roofing in Apilado and Nudas Building, 10 million pesos. Marikina Polytechnic College to the tune of 332 million pesos, composed of rehabilitation and repair of teacher education building and laboratories, 15 million pesos. To the Philippine Normal University, 1.5 billion pesos, composed of construction of a 3-story graduate school building, PNU Mindanao Campus, 30 million pesos. Philippine State College of Aeronautics, 526 million pesos, composed of design and construction of academic building including physics and chemistry laboratory facilities, 12 million pesos. To the Polytechnic University of the Philippines, 3.7 billion pesos, composed of construction of multipurpose building, PUP Lopez Quezon Campus, 50 million pesos, construction of academic building Phase 3, PUP Taguig, 15 million pesos, construction of multipurpose building, College of Engineering Extension building, PUP Santa Mesa, 50 million pesos. To the Technological University of the Philippines, 1.5 billion pesos. Construction and completion of multipurpose building, Barangay Western Bikutan, Taguig City, 40 million pesos. Now we go to Region 1, Ilocos. Don Mariano Marcos Memorial State University, 1.8 billion pesos, composed of construction of veterinary medicine building and animal hospital, 45 million pesos. Ilocos Sur Polytechnic State College, 551 million pesos, composed of completion of academic building, Tagudin Campus, 45 million pesos. Pangasinan State University, 1.7 billion pesos, composed of construction of three-story education building, Urdaneta Campus, 30 million pesos. University of Northern Philippines, 1 billion pesos, composed of construction of the College of Nursing Academic Building 3, Phase 1, 45 million pesos. Now we go to the Cordillera Administrative Region. Abra State Institute of Science and Technology, 394 million pesos, composed of upgrading of the Agricultural, Academic, and Laboratory Building, Main Campus, 30 million pesos. Apayao State College, 349 million pesos, composed of construction of three-story Criminology Building, 30 million pesos. Benguet State University, 1 billion pesos, composed of completion of College of Medicine Building Phase 2, 30 million pesos. Kalinga State University, 505 million pesos, composed of construction of Criminology Academic Facility Phase 1, Bulanao Campus, 30 million pesos. Mountain Province State University, 525 million pesos, composed of completion of 7-story Engineering and Technology Building, Tadian Campus, 30 million pesos. We go to Region 2, Batanes State College, 195 million pesos, composed of construction, upgrading of academic building, Bachelor of Industrial Technology, Phase 1, 12 million pesos. Cagayan State University, 1.5 billion pesos, composed of construction of University Academic Building, 45 million pesos, Futures Thinking Research Program, 2 million pesos. Nueva Vizcaya State University, 864 million pesos, composed of construction of three-story academic building, College of Teacher Education, Bayombong Campus, 20 million pesos. Quirino State University, 429 million pesos, construction of Office Administration Academic Building, Difun Campus, 20 million pesos. For Region 3, Central Luzon, Aurora State College of Technology, 363 million pesos, composed of Futures Thinking Research Program, 2 million pesos, Tulong Dulong Program, 1.1 billion pesos. Bataan Peninsula State University, 1 billion pesos, composed of renovation of training facilities to Food Laboratory Building, Abukay. Sorry, that's I read the wrong item. Rehabilitation of and extension of 2-story academic building, Balanga, Bataan, 35 million pesos. Tulong Dulong Program, 1.1 billion pesos. Bulacan Agricultural State College, 344 million pesos, composed of construction of multipurpose academic building with solar panel and rainwater harvesting facility, 33 million pesos. Tulong Dulong Program, 1.1 billion pesos. Bulacan State University, construction of Gender and Development Building at Campus 2, Malolos, Bulacan, 60 million pesos. Tulong Dulong Program, 1.1 billion pesos. Central Luzon State University, 1.2 billion pesos, construction of composed of construction of climate resilient General Academic Building A, 40 million pesos. Tulong Dulong Program, 1.1 billion pesos. Nueva Ecija University of Science and Technology, 1.4 billion pesos. Composed of construction of academic building and training center, Phase 2, San Isidro Tabon Campus, 15 million pesos. Then Tulong Dulong Program, 1.1 billion pesos. Pampanga State Agricultural University, 631 million pesos. Construction of composed of construction of 2-story College of Business, Economics, and Entrepreneurship Building, 30 million pesos. composed of Tulong Dunong Program, 1.1 billion pesos. Pampanga State University, 1.2 billion pesos. Completion of 12 classroom, 3 academic building with site development Pora Campus, 25 million pesos. Tulong Dulong Program, 1.1 billion pesos. The Philippine Merchant Marine Academy, 351 million pesos, composed of construction of academic building, main campus, 30 million pesos, and Tulong Dulong Program, 1.1 billion pesos. President Ramon Magsaysay State University, 743 million pesos, construction 3-story College of Engineering, academic building, IBA Campus, 40 million pesos, Tulong Dulong Program, 1.1 billion pesos. Tarlac Agricultural University, 522 million pesos, rehabilitation of old building, 30 million pesos. Futures Thinking, 2 million pesos, construction of College of Education Child Research and Development Laboratory Experiences, 20 million pesos, Tulong Dulong Program, 1.1 billion pesos. Tarlac State University, construction of academic building for College of Engineering, Tarlac State University, 1 billion pesos, construction of academic building for College of Engineering, 40 million pesos, Tulong Dulong Program, 1.1 billion pesos. Now for Region 4, Southern Tagalog and Palawan, Region 4A, Calabarzon, Batangas State University, 2.4 billion pesos, Future Thinking Research Program, 2 million pesos, construction of 10-story engineering hub, academic building, 200 million pesos, Tulong Dulong Program, 100 million pesos. Cavite State University, 2.1 billion pesos, completion of 3-story of College of Engineering and Business Management building, CCAT Campus, 42 million pesos, Futures Thinking Research Program, 2 million pesos, Tulong Dulong Program, 1.1 billion, million, no? Million ba ito? Billion. Million pesos. Laguna State Polytechnic College, 1.1 billion pesos, construction of 4-story, 24 classroom academic building, 36 million pesos, replacement of gymnasium roofing system, including sea-pouring repairs and insulation, 6 million pesos. Tulong Dulong Program, 1.1 million pesos. Southern Luzon State University, 761 million pesos. Tulong Dulong Program, 1.1 billion pesos. 1.1 million. University of Rizal System, 934 million pesos. Rehabilitation of ISR Academic Building, Morong Campus, 12 million pesos. Tulong Dulong Program, 1.1 million pesos. Marinduque State University, 418 million pesos. Futures Thinking Program, 2 million pesos. Construction of academic building for College of Arts and Sciences, 12 million pesos. Tulong Dulong Program, 1.1 million pesos. Mindoro State University, 487 million pesos. Establishment of Industrial Technology Education Laboratory, Phase 2, 30 million pesos. Tulong Dulong Program, 1.1 million pesos. Occidental Mindoro State College, 684 million pesos. Tulong Dulong Program, 1.1 million pesos. Palawan State University, 1 billion pesos. Construction of 1-story academic and laboratory building, 3 classrooms at PSU Main Campus, Puerto Princesa City, 15 million pesos. Tulong Dulong Program, 1.1 million pesos. Romblon State University, 615 million pesos. Composed of construction of academic building in RSU San Agustin Campus, 40 million pesos. Futures Thinking Research Program, 2 million pesos. Tulong Dulong Program, 1.1 million pesos. Western Philippines University, 590 million pesos. Rehabilitation of Higher Education Building, Main Campus, 30 million pesos. Futures Thinking Research Program, 2 million pesos. Tulong Dulong, 1.1 million pesos. To Region 5, Bicol Region, Bicol State College of Applied Sciences and Technology, 318 million pesos. Construction of 5-story academic building 2, Phase 4, 15 million pesos. Bicol University, 1.1 billion pesos. Completion of BU College of Medicine Building Extension, 30 million pesos. Future Thinking Research Program, 2 million pesos. Construction of Bicol University Health Sciences Building, Legazpi City, Albay, Phase 1, 50 million pesos. Camarines Norte State College, 584 million pesos. Construction of three-story IFMS Academic Building, Mercedes Campus, 30 million pesos. Camarines Sur Polytechnic Colleges, 744 million pesos. Construction of four-story academic building, College of Health Sciences, Academic Building 4, Nabua Campus, 40 million pesos. Catanduanes State University, 793 million pesos. Completion of Student Convention Center with Amphitheater, 25 million pesos. Central Bicol State University of Agriculture, 1.2 billion pesos. Futures Thinking Research Program, 2 million pesos. Repair Rehabilitation of Electronics and Electrical Classrooms Building, CBSUA, Calabanga Campus, 12 million pesos. Dr. Emilio Espinosa Senior Memorial State College of Agriculture Technology, 346 million pesos. Construction of four-story smart academic and laboratory building for business management program, 30 million pesos. Futures Thinking Research Program, 2 million pesos. Partido State University, 727 million pesos. Construction of Criminology Academic Building, Lagonoy Campus, 24 million pesos. Futures Thinking Research Program, 2 million pesos. Sorsogon State University, 677 million pesos. Construction of Integrated Academic Laboratory and Library Building, 36 million pesos. Now we go to Region 6, Aklan State University, 760 million pesos. Composed of construction of academic building main campus, 30 million pesos. Capi State University, 1.2 billion pesos, composed of construction of academic building and analytical laboratory for fisheries and marine researches, Pontevedra Campus, 40 million pesos. Guimaras State University, 380 million pesos. Completion of CBM building, main campus, 30 million pesos. Iloilo Science and Technology University, 1.1 billion pesos. Rehabilitation of vertical expansion of academic building, K building, Iloilo City Campus, 40 million pesos. Futures Thinking Research Program, 2 million pesos. Iloilo State University of Fisheries, Science and Technology, 601 million pesos. Futures Thinking Research Program, 2 million pesos. Completion of academic building main campus, 12 million pesos. Northern Iloilo State University, 827 million pesos. Construction of three-story general academic building, 24 million pesos. University of Antique, 801 million pesos. This is in your hometown.
Hindi ko amendment yan.
Hindi.
Salamat.
Ano yan? Committee.
Salamat.
Construction and completion of classroom buildings, Sibalom Campus, 14 million pesos. Construction, completion of classroom buildings, Libertad Campus, 14 million pesos. Futures Thinking Research Program, 2 million pesos. West Visayas State University, 2.3 billion pesos. Composed of rehabilitation of Ramon Magsaysay Hall, Academic Building, College of Physical Education, Sports, Culture, and Recreation, 15 million pesos. Negros Island Region, Central Philippine State University, 632 million pesos. Construction of Agribusiness Program, Facility Phase 1, Main Campus, 30 million pesos. Negros Oriental State University, 1.1 billion pesos. Expansion of 60 classroom academic building, 45 million pesos. Siquijor State College, 203 million pesos. Composed of expansion of engineering learning spaces, construction of the engineering learning space, 50 million pesos. State University of Northern Negros, 365 million pesos. Construction, completion of nursing and allied health services academic building, Phase 6 Sagay Campus, 30 million pesos. We go to Region 7, Central Visayas, Bohol Island State University, 1 billion pesos. Composed of construction of 6-story academic building, College of Technology, Main Campus, Dawis Extension, 45 million pesos. Cebu Normal University, 644 million pesos. composed of construction of 8-story academic building, Phase 2, Balamban Campus, 30 million pesos. Biliran Province State University, we go to Region 8, Eastern Visayas. Biliran Province State University, 832 million pesos. Futures Thinking Research Program, 2 million pesos. Eastern Samar State University, 927 million pesos. Construction of 2-story College of Medicine dormitory building, 25 million pesos. Eastern Visayas State University, 996 million pesos. Construction of 4-story College of Arts and Sciences Extension, main campus, 40 million pesos. Leyte Normal University, 618 million pesos. Construction of academic building, LNU San Isidro Campus, 30 million pesos. Northwest Samar State University, 680 million pesos. Construction of nursing building, Phase 1, 30 million pesos. And then another Futures Thinking research program, 2 million pesos. Palompon Institute of Technology, 460 million pesos. Construction of engineering building, Phase 2, 30 million pesos. We go to Region 9, Zamboanga Peninsula, Basilan State College, 315 million pesos. Composed of Futures Thinking Program, 2 million pesos. Construction of academic building, including Animal Science Laboratory, 12 million pesos. Srila State College, 640 million pesos. 604 million pesos. Composed of construction of academic building with laboratories and library. Biswangan Lakewood Campus, 30 million pesos. Construction of academic building, main campus, 30 million pesos. Construction of student center building, Caridad Tumingag Campus, 34 million pesos. Jose Rizal Memorial State University, 938 million pesos. Composed of construction of 2-story 10-classroom building with facilities, School of Engineering, 18 million pesos. Repair, rehabilitation of track and field oval, main campus, 20 million pesos. Western Mindanao State University, 1.3 billion pesos. Construction of 3-story College of Agriculture academic building, San Ramon Campus, 30 million pesos. Zamboanga Peninsula Polytechnic State University, 719 million pesos. Construction of Technology Building Phase 1, College of Engineering and Technology, 18 million pesos. Zamboanga State College, Marine Sciences and Technology, 342 million pesos. Construction of Academic Building 2, Phase 1, 18 million pesos. We go to Region 10, Northern Mindanao. Ano ba ito? Region 10. Bukidnon State University, 1.1 billion pesos. Completion of Buksu Hotel Training Laboratory for BSHM, 50 million pesos. Completion of 5-story academic building, Phase 2, Quezon Campus, 25 million pesos. Completion of 5-story academic building, Kalilangan Campus, 25 million pesos. Construction of 3-story smart Camiguin Polytechnic State College. Ito parang kila ano ito Kila
Thank you,
JJ ito.
Mr. Chair.
Nawala tuloy ako, Jay. 286 million pesos. That includes construction of 3-story Smart Institute of Technology building, main campus, 30 million pesos. Central Mindanao University, 1.1 billion pesos. Construction of academic building, College of Education, 45 million pesos. Construction of covered court, main campus, 10 million pesos. MSU Iligan Institute of Technology, 1.6 billion pesos, composed of repair of various academic building structures, 12 million pesos. Northern Bukidnon State College, 295 million pesos, composed of completion and equipping of 4-story IT building Phase 4, 25 million pesos. Northern Mindanao State College of Science and Technology, 500 million pesos. Construction of Agriculture and Environmental Science Building, 50 million pesos. University of Science and Technology of Southern Philippines, 1.7 billion pesos. Establishment of three-story smart computing academic building, Phase 1, Orqueta Campus, 42 million pesos. University of Science and Technology, Southern Philippines, Cagayan de Oro Campus. Ano ba ito? Mayroon, I think that was in part of the, ano ito? Okay, all right. Okay, we go to Region 11.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
with your permission,
Yes.
before we leave Region 10, we'd like to appeal to the Senate because if you will see Region 10, all the schools have capital outlay. But then my university in my city and my province, if you can see here, it's all blank, zero. So almost all our university, state colleges and universities, you gave capital outlay. But in the case of Cagayan de Oro Campus, University of Science and Technology, zero. University of Science and Technology in Claveria Campus, zero. Can we appeal that we include the following, Mr. Chairman, to be able to be, to be fair to everyone? And we only are requesting, Mr. Chairman, because in the House, we have agreed now there will be no capital outlay. But since the Senate has been giving capital outlay to all, actually all. But here, if you can see here, for Cagayan de Oro Campus and also Claveria Campus, zero. So we just may request the following for inclusion. Is that possible, Mr. Chairman?
Mr. President, we were advised by the DBM that the operating unit is the University of Science and Technology, Southern Philippines.
Yes.
So we were advised that the allocation will be in that university, Mr. President.
But if you can
I
see
think
here,
they have
there is
different
no...
campuses, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
there are two campuses, and there is no capital outlay. That is why, if you can see here, all the other universities in northern Mindanao, Region 10, they have what you have given them, their buildings and their laboratories and academic buildings. But then, nasiro kami dito, Mr. Chairman. So I would just like, therefore, to move that we add what is just needed by the campuses, Mr. Chairman. Yes, wala dito zero
Well, the PASOK, which suggested to us, PASOK actually compiled all the requests of the university, especially to increase their capacity, and they submitted to us. So they submitted to us the projects per university, not for extension campuses. So that's why in this case, the University of Science and Technology of Southern Philippines, the request went to that university, not to the extension campuses.
This is the main, the university is an amalgamation of the Cagayan de Oro campus and the Claveria campus. The main campus right now is the USTP Cagayan campus. And then the other amalgamated campus is Claveria campus. So we would just like to request. Can we just, yeah.
Yes, may I just help out the chair? Of course, but you're the chair of this, right? But I also spoke to Dr. Tirso Ronquillo, who's the president of the state universities. To be fair to the chair, he did not select which university will have this and that. We left it to the state university. So it was Dr. Ronquillo who submitted it to the chair. So they selected. And we know, of course, and Attorney Kong Rufus knows this, that while funding has been given to selected mother campuses, not all extension or satellite campuses were funded. For example, University of Antique, the Hamtic campus and my other campuses had zero funding. I see in your university, you have the main funding under the Oroquieta campus, which is of course not in your district. Like yung sa amin, si Balom and Libertad. But there are 3 others in Caluya, in Hamtic, which were zero funded also. The chair requests, and it's up to you because this was the recommendation of the PASUK upon the consultation with the president of the SUC. But if the congressman so wishes, the chair is willing to move the funding if you say that the main campus is Cagayan de Oro, to move it to the Cagayan de Oro campus. He is willing to do that, right?
But we would not wish also, the USTP system has two main campuses which were amalgamated by law, which I was the author. We have other 5 satellite campuses. We're not asking for the 5 satellite campuses, no. But we're only saying because of the density of students in Cagayan de Oro campus, 15,000 students. We need this following budget. It's not very big. If we'd like to bring this out, because otherwise, we will not have any capital outlay in the 2 amalgamated campuses comprising the USTP. I am not asking for the 5 satellite. Of course, 1 satellite has been given 52, that is in the province of, in Oroquieta, Misamis Occidental. So these are what you'd like to ask, Mr. Chairman, if you permit us to propose. Now, for Cagayan de Oro campus, we are only asking for 50 million for the completion of the 8-story educational and student computer phase 3, computers, building. So it's a completion because right now, the building is not completed. So we're only asking for 50 million. But they're asking for more. But I am saying, because they're asking here to complete it 150 million, I said no, we'll only ask 50 million. And then the second very important request is the continuation of the Faculty Learning Resources Center Phase 2. They asked for 150 million. I'm only asking for 50 million. So they're asking 300 million, which is really, so big in this BICAM hearing. I'm only asking for 50 and 50, 100. That is for the Cagayan de Oro campus. The other main campus in the amalgamated USTP is Claveria. And they're asking, Mr. Chairman, they're asking for the auditorium and multipurpose training center. They're asking 110 million. I'm only asking for 50 million for Claveria, a total of 150 million. Otherwise, we can see here all from Region 1 to Region 16, all of them receive capital outlay. But then my university, and I sit there as the USTP Board of Trustees because I was designated by Chairman Jude Asidre. Mr. Chairman, it will be difficult for me not to be able to appeal to you because you have been giving capital outlay to everyone. And then dito, kami lang, in this page and the other pages, ang zero dito, ito lang 2 campuses na ito. So that is what we'd like to ask, Mr. Chairman, that you be able to, at least be able to give Cagayan de Oro. It is the seat of, in Region 10, this is the seat of education. Can we have that, Mr. Chairman?
May I request for a minute suspension, Chairperson Mika?
Meeting suspended.